Would you
yes.
run on them?
I know one thing. I saw the basic law of nature come into effect, which is fight or flight, when Jacobs hit Woodson. And I think that the way he hit him, he let them know that this is what you got coming when you step in front of this big load. This guy is a lineman playing in the backfield. I'd be scared if I were them.
Well, think how big Larry Zonka was in his day. This guy is 265 pounds. I played tight end at 230 pounds. Understand? This is crazy.
That's right. He may be the difference.
Speak to the burden that is on the Patriots at 18-0, trying to win one more game, and to your burden at that time at 16-0, trying to not be 16-1.
Well, you know, our whole goal was to get into the Super Bowl and win the Super Bowl. 14-0 just happened. Now, that wasn't our goal to go undefeated, but we had got beat in the Super Bowl the year before.
So, by who?
All right. He knows, the Dallas Cowboys. And you know, when you get that far and you walk away the loser, they only go to one locker room when that game's over. Before the game, both teams are treated the same. When the game's over, they go to one locker room, the winning locker room. And I wanted to make sure that our team knew that we wanted people to come to our locker room after that perfect season.
What are they feeling like now? The 18, I mean, you guys were sitting there 16.
Hey, we lost in Super Bowl VI to the Cowboys, humiliated in that game. We came back. He made us watch that game the first day we came back. He turns off the projector. He says, now, you see how sick you feel now? You see how sick and sorry you feel? Well, just think of how sick and sorry you're going to be if you don't go back and redeem yourselves. And then he said, I forgot to tell you, it was just as much my fault because you can't be world champions unless you win all 3 seasons. The regular season, which at that time was 14 games, the playoff season, which was the 2 games, and that 1 game, because the last game we lost was that Super Bowl. So we set out that year not to go unbeaten, but to redeem ourselves. We had our report cards from the Dallas Cowboys in our back pocket the whole time. So at the end of the year, this guy says, well, how does it feel that you won the championship? I said, hey, we were just glad to get Don Shula off our back because he did well. We couldn't come out of here without a victory.
Coach, you're forever linked. It is your spokesman now.
I approve this message.
Is there room? There's room after all? Is there room after all?
Oh, I think so. And you got to give them credit. If they do it, 19-0, you know, that's 2 more games than we won. And after the first game of the season, they've done it according to the way that everybody else has done it. So you got to give them credit for winning within the rules and you know, beating people the way that you should win. And I take my hat off to them. If they can win this last game, it's going to be 1 game, 2 games more than we won.
Well, Merck, you know what? Fluff up the pillows for them in case it happens. But the Giants still have something to say about it. You guys have been awesome all year just talking about it. It's nice to revisit the 1972 Miami Dolphins.
We live in Perfectville, where the population is 1. Today, the population might be 2.
All right.
Then again,
pretty good, isn't
it
he?
might not.
Think you could fit on our set, Coach?
You're pretty good, Merck.
Coach Don Shula, the Hall of
Coach,
Fame.
thanks.
Mercury Morris, the
Thank you,
1,000-yard back. Great to be with you again. Enjoy the game.
We
I
will.
know you will. Well, if you look at what the Dolphins did in 72, and remember, eras and everything were different, but the Dolphins scored the most points in the league that year, allowed the fewest points in the league that year. So you beat all comers. You can put up any number you want with that 0 on the right-hand side. Precious few. Neighborhood of 1. Maybe tonight will be 2, as Merck says. Well, the Super Bowl is a game, of course, for all-age reporters, and that includes our youngest contributor, 10-year-old Jason Krause, on his first foray into Media Day.
You were expecting someone else? I'm here at Super Bowl 42. Right now, it's Media Day, and it's time for me to get to work. Tom. Whatever. I don't get all the fuss about Brady. I mean, you haven't lost a game in 4 years.
That's exactly right. You know, it's tough being me and having this undefeated career.
Do you have any advice for me for the ladies?
Man, keep it clean, stay fly.
Will you marry me? What? How does it feel to block for Eli Manning?
Oh, you're killing me. It feels great to block for Eli.
Wait. Oh, wait, no, it's coming back to me. You're a quarterback, right? I hear you've been a lot nicer this year. Why is that?
Who put you up to that?
The producer, why? Hey, Tom, I have a question to ask
What's your question? Tell me.
What is your secret to perfection? Thank you.
Where'd you get this jacket? It's very stylish. I have one very similar.
He liked my jacket. Eli, Tom Brady liked my coat. What do you think?
Yeah, that's sharp. It's a sharp-looking coat.
Media Day was a big adventure. My jacket was a hit, and now it's time to relax. So for the last time this season, this has been Jason Krause. Take
All right, Jason, thank you for the season. And Patriots and Giants, thank you for your season. We will relive Super Bowl 42 after the trophy presentation about 10:30 Eastern with Steve and Tom and yours truly on NFL Prime Time. Join us then. We'll be back.
Perfect at more than just football. Find out what else Brady's bunch says they can't be beat at. Who is Eli Manning? How the Giants QB was the quiet one in football's first family. And best team ever? Are the Pats now just one win away from claiming that title? Find out next.
In this jersey, I pledge to wreak havoc on my opponent's plus-minus.
To make one-timers happen way more than once.
I pledge that my team will scrap for every single point on the schedule.
In this jersey, I pledge the holes are only holes if they're open.
Shop.nhl.com presents the RBK Edge jersey. All 30 teams reinvented for more strength, more speed, more belief.
In this jersey, I pledge to play for the logo on the front, not the name on the back.
What do you pledge? Visit shop.nhl.com for your jersey.
College basketball continues on NASN this Saturday. Live from the Big East Conference, Marquette travel to Notre Dame to face the Fighting Irish. Coverage starts with College Game Day. Live college basketball, Marquette versus Notre Dame, this Saturday only on NASN.
Welcome back to a special edition of Sunday NFL Countdown from Arizona, presented by IBM.
The first time any NFL team has won all 16 regular season games.
Perfect. Probably perfect at getting on my wife's nerves. That's what probably the only thing that I'm perfect at.
Probably my terrible golf swing.
I think we're all pretty good at grilling.
Probably grilling.
We go over to Lights and Logan's, and I appreciate their skills on the grill.
I would say anything that involves food, we're close to perfection, always striving to one up.
I'm not looking to be perfect at anything.
I'm not perfect.
I don't think I'm perfect.
Is there a perfect person out there? I don't think there is.
And the Patriots are 18-0. Super Bowl, here we come.
Well, as Merck and Coach said, Perfectville, residents of one right now. If the Patriots complete the perfect season and go to 19-0, are they the best team ever, Tom?
You know, I think I'm going to take a lesson from all of the great teams, and it's the best season ever in the history of football. But you talk to the Cowboys, you talk to the Pittsburgh Steelers of the 70s, Joe Montana, Steve Young's 49ers. I think that they would say it's a privilege and an honor to be included in that conversation. And I mean that. If you ask them, are you the greatest team ever? I think you would say no.
Well, you can say no, and I hear you, Tom, but when I think about this New England Patriots team, they are not the best team ever, but they will have the best season ever if they go 19-0. The best team ever for me, obviously, is the Pittsburgh Steelers when they won 4 Super Bowls out of 6 years. That team had the steel curtain, they had Terry Bradshaw, they had all those great players, and plus, they have 10 Hall of Famers. To me, that is the best team ever.
Well, I mean, I think when you look in terms of one season, they're the best team for one season. If they win this game, they'll be perfect. There's no question about it. But since I've joined this this staff, as I would call it, I've learned that there's other teams that were pretty good that I didn't get a chance to enjoy.
He had one.
Greater grace. We don't know, but I tell you here what they do. They've raised the bar to a level now that you may never be able to jump over this bar. Because this bar, in 19-0, it'll never, and I say this now, going on record for the next 150 years, because I'll be around, nobody will ever break that record.
Well, you know what's so funny?
Nobody else will ever go 90.
You know the funny thing?
But I am 150 already.
No. They make, and I know it's jumping ahead, and you'll say, oh,
Don't do it. Don't do it.
Don't jump.
You know what I'm going to say.
Don't do it. They may retool and get back at this.
You know, well, they retooled this year, that's for sure. You like to quote country say like Chris Christopherson. And to that one, I just go Kenny Rogers. There'll be time enough for counting when the day is done. Jaws? Now try and top that. We're using lyrics here, pal. Try and top that.
I'll give it a shot, Boomer, but everyone up there is waffling. Let's get real here. When the New England Patriots win this game today, they will be recognized as the greatest team ever. In all due respect to the Packers in the late 60s, the 72 Dolphins, the Steelers in the 70s, the 49ers in the 80s, the Cowboys and the 49ers in the 90s. If the game was played on the field by any of those teams against this New England team, the Patriots would win, Steve.
I'm not saying that's not the case, but how can you say that through the eras? It's insane. It's a silly question in a way, but it proffers an argument, which is fine. I have I think an interesting way to look at this. To me, we know the greatest teams that we've been talking about, the Pittsburgh. You just went through them. If each one of those teams, if that offense played that defense, the same team played each other, what kind of a game would that be? In this case, when you talk about the Patriots, I get a sense with this offense and the Patriot defense right now with a little aging core, I get a sense that it'll be about 42-10. This offense would blow up this defense of the Patriots. So I don't know. It's a fun discussion, but I don't know if you think about it. But the season, no one's ever. I say this.
How would they
no one ever will go 19.
How would they do? How would your 49ers teams play against this team right now?
I don't know. I tell you what. You got our defense. Our number one defense in the league with Ronnie Lott, Keena Turner, Eric I'm just telling you, be careful when you talk about these are obviously the best ever.
It's the beauty of the conversation of sports. There is no answer, and the people from your generation, what it means. John's the only one who thinks there's an answer. That's well, no matter what. Here at University of Phoenix Stadium, where they continue to keep the field dry, keep the roof on, and keep ready for counting down to kickoff. History will be made in this 2-year-old facility coming up in a matter of 8.5 hours. We continue from the desert and all over the Valley of the Sun on Sunday NFL Countdown.
The greatest ever? What the Countdown crew says a win today would mean for Tom Brady's legacy.
Yeah, I think Tiki actually kind of got under his skin, it looked like to me.
Plus, why the Manning family says it took Tiki Barber to finally break Eli out of his shell. And the mind game between Eli Manning and Bill Belichick. Why history says the Pats head coach will rattle the Giants QB. Next.
Hey, the aerial view here at Southbridge at Scottsdale. There's the trophy. Goodyear. Get there on triple tread technology. Our thanks to the guys in the blimp. Not related. Mort, your turn.
Well, Boomer, as you know, Eli Manning is the youngest of 3 sons for Archie and Olivia Manning. And ever since he entered the league, his low-key personality and mannerisms have been closely scrutinized, a mystery to outsiders. But trust me, he is no mystery to those in his inner circle.
Eli Manning? I don't think we know yet. I think he's kind of coming out of his shell finally. You know, at age 27, I think he's about due.
Eli kind of lets people know as much about him as he wants to let them know. I was extremely shy growing up when I was younger. You know, and with my 2 brothers, both of them could talk all day long. So I don't think it was I was shy. I just didn't have any time to get a word in. I listened, I observed, I watched everything. I was taking everything in, but I just kind of didn't have a whole lot to add.
Eli was always kind of reserved. Easy is what his buddies nicknamed him.
Growing up in New Orleans, the youngest member of a proud football family, Eli Manning was reserved, even when talking about his own athletic achievements.
How you doing? How'd the game go? And I just, hey, it went well. We won. And I wouldn't give much details.
You never could tell when he walked in the door, he hit the game-winning shot or fouled out in the second quarter.
Cooper, had to say, well, he did score 30 and hit the game-winning shot to win it all. And they were like, why didn't you tell me that? I said, well, I don't know. I told you we won the game. I thought that's all you needed to know.
When Manning began his NFL career, that easygoing attitude helped him survive tough criticism from the New York media.
I can remember the first day Eli was in his first mini camp. And I don't know, I think he, threw a couple of errant passes. I'm sure he's nervous. Oh, they just beat him up. I said, what happened in that first practice? And he goes, what? And I said, oh, they beat you up. The papers beat you up so bad, how bad you were. He said, I thought I did pretty good.
Manning remained unshakable, even at a point last season when his brother Cooper thought he might crack.
And I said, I got to go up there. I'm his big brother. He's getting, beat up. I'm going to go up there and support him. And I was just kind of like, I'm here for you, buddy. And he's like, look, hey, I'm glad you came, but I'm fine. I don't need you that bad, bud. I'm a big boy. That's when I felt good about it, because he doesn't. It just kind of rolls off.
In training camp this season, comments from former teammate Tiki Barber questioned Manning's leadership. This time, the comments didn't roll off.
I guess I could have questioned his leadership skills last year with calling out the coach and having articles about him retiring in the middle of the season, saying he's lost the heart. As a quarterback, you're reading that your running back's lost the heart. I can see that a little bit at times.
Tiki actually kind of got under his skin, it looked like to me, the first time. Worth commenting and coming back with a dig. Normally he would say, whatever. Clearly he had some thoughts that he kept quiet that shined that day.
So I think it's the correct response. It comes to a point where enough's enough. But I think about Eli, there's nothing planned or anything. It was reactionary.
When you heard that, what was your personal reaction?
Good for you, E. Way to go, baby.
I grew out of my shell a little bit, and I became a little bit more, spoken, but I never became outspoken, I'd say. My personality, the way what I do and how I act doesn't change no matter what happens, and that's the way I've always been.
And it doesn't change when he's hurt. Remember all the hoopla about Eli's separated shoulder in week 1, how much time he was going to miss, what I reported? Well, Archie finally explained what happened when Giants doctor Russ Warren called him to explain what had happened to Eli in that game.
Said Eli's got it. He said, I'm not sure level 1, level 2 separation, but he's going to miss 3 or 4 weeks. I said, well, take care of him. And so we actually went up for the game the next week, and he told me, he said, I think I can get through this thing.
24 other quarterbacks wouldn't have played the next week against Green Bay. But I think he showed a lot of his teammates just how tough a guy he is and how he's going to answer that bell every Sunday.
I once asked the late Giants general manager George Young the qualities he looks for in a quarterback. The first thing he mentioned was courage. Mike Tirico, I think you got a couple of tough ex-quarterbacks with you there.
I do, Mort. From the person Eli to the player, he goes up against Bill Belichick for the second time in a season. Kurt Warner did that, won in the regular season. You see his numbers in the loss in the Super Bowl. In 2004 season, Ben Roethlisberger win in the regular season, intercepted 3 times in the 41-27 AFC Championship road win for the Patriots. And now Eli Manning, who put up 22 of 32 for 4 touchdowns and 1 pick in that final regular season game at Giants Stadium, gets a chance to go up against the Bill Belichick defense in the postseason. And Steve Young and Ron Jaworski to talk about Eli and this game. Tell me how you scope out the keys for watching Eli against the Patriots defense tonight.
Mike, as I've studied Eli throughout his career, he's your typical NFL prototypical pocket passer. He needs a comfortable cradle to throw from. So as you spin that forward to this afternoon, the most important piece of real estate on the field today is going to be 5 yards behind Eli Manning, because that will impact his 3-step drop, his 5-step drop, and his 7-step drop. That will be the area of the field the pass rush of the New England Patriots will try to attack and will try to win.
I appreciate that, Jaws. I think that's probably true, too. I think you think of Bill Belichick, what he's done to this defense. This is a bend but not break defense. He knows they're aging stars, and they got to be careful. Between the 30s, Eli Manning will move the football. I don't think they'll have trouble. Where they really count, and I'm talking about the Patriot defense, is in the red zone, the 25 yards to the touchdown to the end zone. That's where Bill Belichick, I saw him after the game when he turned to Teddy Bruschi and said, hey, nice job in the red zone, no touchdowns in the Chargers championship game. That's what matters to him. Eli Manning chess match with Bill Belichick will happen in those 25 yards. There's going to be 10 to 15 plays in the Super Bowl, which will decide the Super Bowl. Are they touchdowns or field goals for Eli Manning? He'll get them down there, and that, to me, is the difference in this ball game.
You never know how somebody's going to react on this stage, in this setting, but from pedigree to the way we saw him handle the adversity this year, you think Eli Manning's going to be able to at least handle the emotions of it now. Can he handle what the Patriots deal defensively? That'll be the story we watch coming up here in a few hours. On the way to get you prepared at your Super Bowl party, how about some NBA? The reigning most valuable player in the NBA is Dirk Nowitzki. He and the Dallas Mavericks north of Detroit in the Palace of Auburn Hills to take on the Pistons. Coverage begins, in about 25 minutes on ABC. But there's much more ahead on Sunday, NFL Countdown.
The signal callers that went before number 12 on draft day. Find out what these former better-than-Brady QBs are doing now. Plus, cementing the legacy. What a Super Bowl 42 win will really mean for Tom Brady. And who will steal the Super Bowl 42 spotlight? And will it be a perfect ending or a giant-sized upset? Super Bowl predictions and game breakers. All next. You are watching a special edition of Sunday NFL Countdown from Arizona, presented by IBM.
Gracias, Rodrigo y Gabriela. G-Men fans are here. And, of course, the Patriot fans pulling out all stops. Look at this. Give that dog a Bony Maroney. What else would you? How about them dogs? If I only knew then what I know now. How many times have we said that, I mean, in our lives? In football, second guessing is almost as big as a sport as the game itself. How else could we have a legion of Monday morning quarterbacks? And when it comes to the draft, oh boy, you look back at those things. Like 2000, for example, Tom Brady was taken by the New England Patriots in the 6th round, 199th overall selection. 6 quarterbacks were picked ahead of him. Do you remember? It's almost impossible. Here's ESPN.com's Greg Garber.
When I was waiting on draft day, I said, no one likes me. No one likes the way I play. No one thinks I could play quarterback for him.
Michigan's Tom Brady was ranked 10th among quarterbacks in 2000 by NFL draft expert Mel Kiper.
Maybe some of the attributes that it takes to be a great professional quarterback aren't really the same things that require a college quarterback to be, a great player.
Brady didn't help himself at the NFL scouting combine when he ran the 40 in 5.23 seconds, a time more appropriate for an offensive lineman.
Brady's got deceptive speed. He's even slower than he looks.
He didn't test particularly well, at bench pressing and running the 40, shuttle time, throwing the ball. It just didn't jump off the page at you, T. Martin picked 163 in the 2000 NFL draft.
The University of Tennessee's T. Martin was ranked 4th among the class of 2000 quarterbacks by Kiper.
I ran a 4.5 at the combine, so I was out kind of happy. And then the guys who didn't run so well, they didn't want to talk. And so I didn't see Tom around, bragging about what he ran at the 40.
Marshall's Chad Pennington was the first quarterback taken at number 18 overall. 2 rounds later, the 49ers chose a little-known quarterback from Hofstra.
I'm Giovanni Carmazzi, pick 65 of the 2000 NFL draft.
Carmazzi, that was the one that bothered Brady the most. Didn't he go in the 3rd round?
His family's a Northern California family. They, I believe, were San Francisco 49er fans growing up, so he felt like he got the short end of the stick.
Louisville's Chris Redmond was the next quarterback taken, followed by Martin and West Virginia's Mark Bulger. The next quarterback came from tiny southwest Texas State.
I'm Spurgeon Wynn, pick 183 in the 2000 NFL Draft. I didn't have a whole lot of expectations. You know, I was coming out of a small school, so I was preparing myself to maybe be a free agent and try and make a squad that way.
Midway through day 2, 6 quarterbacks were already off the board. The Patriots, with pick 199, debated between Brady and Louisiana Tech's Tim Rattay.
Definitely thought, just because of when they worked me out, and you'll get to those 4th, 5th, 6th rounds when they were picking, thought it might happen, but obviously it didn't.
Among the last 6 picks taken, a familiar name if you're a college football fan, Tom Brady, the quarterback who all he did was lead this football team, put them in the right position.
Can you imagine what this 7 years would have been like if Tim Rattay or any of those guys were your quarterback?
Well, we wouldn't have free Stetson, which would be absolutely
travesty.
Terrible.
If I were drafting a quarterback between T. Martin and Tom Brady in 2000, I'm still taking T. Martin.
Of the 12 quarterbacks eventually taken in the 2000 NFL Draft, 7 of them are no longer in the league. Giovanni Carmazzi, T. Martin, and Spurgeon Wynn combined for 1 career touchdown pass. Meanwhile, pick 199 had 50 this season.
Just goes to show you, no matter where you get picked, if you don't get picked at all, there's always something inside you that can make it happen.
Thank you very much, Greg. It never has number 199 of a draft been that much like a charm. Well, I mean, the legacy, if you to date, I think, and tell me if you're to rank quarterback, I always put Montana, Unitas, and then there's a group, right? Brett Favre, Elway, Marino is certainly, Tom Brady is in that group, and moving up like the old Rolling Stone magazine with a bullet.
You don't have Jaws in there after those comments?
Well, but I mean,
oh boy.
But the legacy of Tom Brady. What happens after tonight if there's another win?
You know what? I'm happy that you went down that list of quarterbacks, because all those quarterbacks are great quarterbacks in their own right. But when you think about what Tom Brady has the opportunity to do, and that is go 19-0, if that happens, the way he has had a season this year, thrown 53 touchdowns, all the records that he's broken, going 19-0, possibly winning 4 Super Bowls, all those things, to me, I think it catapults him straight to the top, and he is the best quarterback to have ever played the game. His offense right now is very efficient. He knows his offense extremely well, and he's going to do a great job as a quarterback.
Well, I think it's all about timing. In any position that you play in the National Football League and college, it's about timing. Tom Brady hit timing right. He's on a great team, obviously going to be one of the best teams ever to play at some point in time. He's only 30 years old. His coach is, I think, 55, 56 years old. He has an opportunity and a chance to continue to build toward a super legacy. I mean, winning his 4th Super Bowl, Coach, I don't know. Hey, you can answer that better than me.
But what's the criteria? Is it wins? Is it number of Super Bowl wins? Well, then put Terry Bradshaw up at the top first. Let's start where it belongs. Now, this guy is a great football player, but let's get over this stuff. He's the best of all time. He's one of the great quarterbacks to have the good fortune of playing in this league. He's got a great team around him. He's got a great coach. He's got a great organization. God bless him, but let's not anoint him Pope yet.
Coach, I agree, and I think when you start talking about his legacy, I use the same theory as best team ever. I think if you were to ask Tom Brady, are you the best quarterback to ever play? I think, and I've actually heard him answer that question. He says, I'm honored to be included in that conversation, and I think that's all you can ask. He is 30 years old, as Key said, so he's got a chance to win a lot more. But let's take a look at it when his career is over. Steve, I know, at least I think you have similar thoughts on Tom.
There's no question, and I think one of the biggest challenges you have when you have greatness and behind you, you watch some great quarterbacks, great expectations. If you want to be great, you have to actually be greater than the guys before you, and I think he's taken that challenge. He's taken history, learned from the guys that have played behind him, before him, watched very closely, said, hey, you have to be an artist in this game. You have to take this as the ultimate profession. I have to be the best in the world. He's so detailed. This win tonight will cement him in that group of whatever you want to say, those 3 or 4 guys that have kind of, transcended the sport. Tom Brady's going to be one of those guys, and he's done it by, I think, taking history, taking the present, and looking now at 30 years old to a tremendous future as well.
I mean, there are a lot of great quarterbacks in the history of the National Football League, Steve, you being one of them. And Coach Ditka, you got to pay attention. Now, don't fall asleep on the set over there. But Steve just said that when you look at Tom Brady, he's 30 years old. He could win his 4th Super Bowl championship tonight. Now, key point here. 30 years old. His football intelligence is now being his football talent. Before all is said and done, he will be recognized as the greatest quarterback in NFL history.
Inordinate amount of time is paid for drafting, developing, and talking about quarterbacks and the success and failure. But there's a Mount Rushmore for Super Bowl quarterbacks, and that's what it's about. Winning championships. About 8 hours, you might have Bradshaw, and then Montana. And Brady would be right there as the only other guy to go 4-0 in the ultimate football game. Well, the vantage point of the teams preparing for the final moments before they head on over to the stadium. Our reporters have been there all day, so let's check that vantage point one last time. Head Werder in a second, but first Sal Palantonio covering the Patriots. Sal.
Well, Mike, in a few moments, the team buses for the New England Patriots will leave for University of Phoenix Stadium for their 4th Super Bowl in the last 7 years. What's different about this trip is that this season has ended just how it started, with a lot of scrutiny and distractions for this football team. But all year long, they've used those distractions to motivate them, for team unity, to close ranks. And any sign of disrespect has always been turned into a motivating tool on the field. Expect that today. Now for a final thought on the New York Giants, here's Ed Werder.
Well, Sal, the buses pull out of the Giants Hotel in about an hour and head to the stadium. Plexico Burress made an interesting observation when he noted that in the regular season, the Giants lost to the Cowboys, the Packers, and the Patriots. Then in the playoffs, they eliminated the Cowboys, the Packers, and now they have their second chance to wreck the Patriots' undefeated season. SAC leader O.C. Umenyiora said, hey, I have a unique perspective on this. He said, given the way we've won and where we've won, we think we're capable of anything. Boomer, he said, we're not awed, we're not intimidated, even though it might be the greatest team they've ever assembled.
Well, why should they be intimidated? They were very close, of course. And now we don't want to intimidate you with game breakers, but since the Giants and Patriots have been to a few Super Bowls, I'll do my game breakers just from their past Super Bowls. Number 5, Deion Branch from Louisville. He had 10 catches and 143 against Carolina, then was the MVP in Super Bowl 39 with 11 catches against Philadelphia. Otis Anderson, Super Bowl 25. We said the Giants controlled the ball on the ground 21 times, 102 yards, and the Giants beat the Bills. Boom. In Super Bowl 38, Mike